It's just cognitive overload that's unnecessary at that time. So we have an operation in the tutorial where we want to teach you how to use skills. So we want to do that at the right time. So we just remove that notification because it just makes players anxious. We added more UI highlights to the tutorial to ease the transition from one task to the next. And we added camera sensitivity settings. And this is kind of just for everyone. This was just, we should have done this a long time ago, but you know. And we made NPC names also match the aura dialogues. We were at one point telling the player to kill the Seeker. So the aura was telling the player, kill the Seeker. And you would maybe look at the overview, and you would see the NPC, and the type name, the group name of it is just called Circadian Seeker, and because the column is so small, it would just start with Circ. So you don't really see Seeker anywhere. So we changed the names to just Seeker. Now, did this work? Yes. It seemed, since we touched the tutorial completion rate has been going steadily up, and this is getting us closer to healthy levels. Now, we need more new players in the game, and this is helping us a lot. If we can get them through a tutorial, it might convince them to get through a career agent, it might convince them to get through an epic arc, a corp, a fleet. Like, let's keep going. So the red line is a 7-day moving average, and these are only characters belonging to new customers. We are, to the best of our ability, excluding alternate accounts and alternate characters. And this is also prompting us to do more. This is proving the theory that we can affect the tutorial and affect the health of our game, but just changing little things here and there, not completely revamping for like a year or many months. This is since what, July, and we've done a lot of little things. Now, individual operations, we look at them, we see a lot of improvement. We can look at each of these to see which are the biggest offenders, like which of these drive most of the players away. The red column here is the first week after we started working on them, like July 3rd, and the yellow bar is the first week after the latest release. You can see some are better and some are worse, and there are a number of different factors at play here. An operation is many different things, and the player might be introduced to different parts of the UI at the time. Obviously, the first one is the biggest offender. That's where players are really deciding to play this game or not. So we want to make that one as smooth as possible. So the point is here that we are constantly tracking what we're doing, the effects of our actions, and we are acting on them. In fact, some changes went out very recently to counteract the operations that are worse off, and we're going to keep going. Now, the NPE, or new player experience, is not just the tutorial. It is after the tutorial, and is conceivably all the way from you starting the game until 6 years later, you're opening for the first time the last window in EVE. So even you, if you've never opened the industry, you can still be considered a new player in some aspects. We are making significant strides in making player lives easier, new and old. We have a lot of little changes, like these cool fitting warnings. We added these smart fitting warnings a little while ago. These should guide new players and help them not to make some basic fitting mistakes, like fitting both armor and shield modules on the same ship. I would have loved this myself when I was a player, because I'm a programmer. My fits suck. But if you're a good fitter, then feel free to ignore these if your fit is super meta and super awesome. But I'm definitely going to use them. These daily login rewards, you are familiar with these from the skill campaigns, login campaigns that we've been running. This is a new UI for it, and we're going to add the Evergreen project, which is basically just you get daily rewards every day. This is the Era of the Abyss. This is just a mock-up. You can get a reward for a limited amount of time. This is just a little thank you for logging in. Now, the daily login rewards for collecting a new reward every day, this is more for new players. This is to incentivize return. This version will give out a new small reward every day, but these will be substantial for new players and a very small impact for us as a company and for you players economically. It is just to get the players started. If you get a new gun, you might be prompted to fit that new gun. You might be prompted to try out that new gun in a combat signature or combat site. And if we can get players to do one combat site for one stinking module, that's a win-win. It's very good. And we believe that for players who have just created their first character, they have a lack of immediate things to look forward to. It's the nature of a sandbox. You need to make your own goals, and some people are just not very good at that. And they lack a reason to come back. And if we build this system, we will build a habit of logging in to claim their cool reward, resulting in increased engagement of new players and therefore tempting them to come back. CCP Burger touched on this wallet update. I want to go a little deeper into it and just show you the different things. Now, as an effort of unifying the different currencies in EVE, we are redesigning the wallet just a little bit. This is not a total revamp, but we are bringing the ISK and we're bringing Plex and loyalty points into the wallet. The new wallet has feature parity with the old wallet. We are adding a couple of new things. The overview tab, this is showing your gross income. We might change it to net income if we can in the future, but for now, gross income. We obviously brought Plex and LP into the wallet to give the player a better overview of their available currencies in EVE. Why did we do this? Because new players don't really know what ISK, Plex, or LP are, and this will help with explaining what's going on. There are little tooltips at each of the little banners there to explain what each of these elements are. Now, the loyalty points tab in the new wallet provides players an avenue to discovering where they can spend them. This was way too hidden in the past, and some players, they didn't realize that an LP store even existed or where to find it. So this is exactly the same as it was in the journal. We are going to remove the LP from the journal, but we're adding a link to the closest loyalty point store, so you can just get to there immediately. Thank you. For me, it should be very nice, because I always have to Google where they are. And now to save space, the new wallet is collapsible. This view provides a quick overview of all currencies, but obviously the loyalty points tab, we can't really add all the loyalty points up, so we just tell you how many corporations you have the loyalty points with. Maybe we change this in the future. If you guys have any suggestions, just please feel free to talk to me. Now, you no longer have to dig through the journal or inventory to find out how much LP or Plex you have, and this is pretty cool. I want to show you the corporation wallet as well. This is largely unchanged, except for the banner at the top there. It's showing you the active division and how much money you have in that division. And you have a little tooltip show info icon there to tell you what a division is. Otherwise, pretty much the same. We have some work going on, exploratory work on changing the market orders tab and bringing that into the wallet and making that a little more easier to use. Now, the one awesome thing we added a little while ago is damage types on weapons and charges and NPC resistances. This saves the player from Googling this or keeping it in their bio or just kind of guessing or just going on the market and buying the cheapest ammo and trying to kill every NPC in the game and not understanding why they're dying. This provides a reasonable avenue for the player to easily figure out what kind of weapon damage and tank they should fit. So to explain to those who don't really know what's going on, if you have different, like say, a few different charges in your inventory, you can right-click your weapon, and it will show you what charges you can reload, and it will show you on the left side there with an icon, what kind of damage it's dealing. And you can then correlate that with an NPC. If you right-click that one, click Show Info and click Attributes tab, you can see the resistances and damage it's doing. So you can make some connections there on your own without having to ask. Now this one, community fittings. How cool is that? I love this one. A little while back, we added this amazing feature, allowing players to submit custom fittings to a forum, curated by volunteers and submitted to the game by developers. This is great for players who don't like to fit ships, like me, and don't know how, or just want to get into the action of flying it right away. I would have loved this as a newbie player. I died so much, and I blame my shit fit. It's not my fault. Now, the author's name is displayed in the fitting list. Your name could be in the game as the author of one of the best fits for a given ship. Now, don't be stingy, guys. Share your fit. Now, come up with some cool EVE Vegas fits and submit them to the forums. That'd be pretty cool. Now, to help you help us, we helped you help new players. This new window, found in the Neocom, allows you to give a link to a player that highlights UI elements. This helps new players find things quickly and easily, and we really appreciate you guys helping them in rookie help, just to point out obvious things, or not so obvious things that are hidden in the Neocom. Berger touched on this in the keynote, and I was surprised to see the reaction. I thought it would be fucking awesome. Woo! Like, yeah. Even if it's not called Alliance Bookmarks, this is Alliance Bookmark, guys. It's really good. Now, through sheer force of will and no small amount of elbow grease, EVE Development has a working prototype of shareable bookmarks. This allows players to create bookmarks and share them with anyone, like their corporation or alliance. Bookmarks can be shared more freely now through access control lists, allowing friends and informal groups to use them, rather than having them restricted by current corporation membership. We feel this is a more elegant solution to the much-asked Alliance bookmarks. This is set to release soon. This has gone on a test server before, and this is looking good. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Hooray! Yeah. Thank you. So there's been over 50 changes. There's probably been over 100 changes in total across all the teams. Now, we have worked tirelessly to bring you this whole host of things, and we're trying to increase the health of the game. And all these changes are designed to ease the experience of using a number of EVE's features, and we hope that this will help you guys as well as new players. This is mostly geared toward new players in the first 30 hours. Some of these are good for everybody. And we also made changes to the default positions and sizes of all the windows in the game, restoring sanity to the world. And we picked out the most notable ones for now here on this slide. But yeah, like I said, there are over 50 changes total. Look, we added the wallet back into default Neocom. Yes, good. We added a max time to enter warp. I think it was, 3 minutes or 1 minute. We moved thermodynamics from the starter skills and improved the ability to find the home station, because players were not sure what a home station is. So yeah. Now I'm going to pass this off to CCP Paradox, who's going to talk about the rest of the stuff that's been going on in EVE development. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Great. Okay. So I'm here to talk a little bit about the EVE core. Very little bit. I'm just going to recap a few slides from this morning and the keynotes. That's mostly because this is the EVE Variety Hour, and we're talking about what we're doing right now, and also just what's right around the corner, as in November and December. Basically, for me, the Team Talos stuff, what CCP Rise is doing, is just right around the corner, and we've already done some of that stuff. So we want to challenge the EVE core, and we want to ensure that there's always something to look forward to. So yeah, for some of you, this might be a repeat, so I apologize in advance, but not really. So we actually dropped Warp Drive Active very quickly. It's one of the things I'm really impressed with, because hopefully for you guys, it was almost out of nowhere. It was a bit of a surprise. I think the first time some of you were checking it was on Hobo Leaks, and you thought, where's the patch notes? What's going on? A lot of you had to actually go in game and try it out. And that's kind of what we really want to continue experimenting with. Some of these changes, we're going to be less telling you what they are, Other times, we might give you a bit more of a heads up, but mostly in the form of just giving you a bit of a theme, giving you a little bit of a suggestion, and hopefully your imagination can take the rest away. So this was the Howling Interceptors, which is launching just next week, alongside the Trick or Treat event. After that is the Bush, Beat Around the Bush, which I really love the title of that one. And then the Rapid Fire in late November, which is a little bit focused around Minmatar. That's my little spiel about the EVE Core, but just because it's so close. But one thing I'm really here for is to talk a little bit about Invasion. It makes a bit more sense to talk about the Triglavian Collective. So this basically started at the start of this year. Many of you saw this entity appear throughout New Eden, entity named Zoria Triglav. Basically delivered a very cryptic message through a really weird way of just hacking all of the billboards across New Eden. Asked you a really weird question to prove the direction of your flow. It kind of escalated a little quickly, if we're honest. So in May, the Triglavian Collective actually began invading full-on into New Eden. So they emerged from the depths of abyssal dead space. Conduits began to form all across several constellations. Overwhelming force of Triglavians came through. There's also a Zordash world arc that began to emerge. It's the one in the middle. It actually has a gigantic conduit gate into the abyss, so it brings lots of forces through there. It's pretty powerful. It's actually huge. I think the art guys can give you the scale of that thing in a bit more detail. It also seemed at the time that they were entirely focused on high security space. But over the course of this year, that wasn't entirely true. The invasion actually escalated further, and then we began to see more Triglavians appear across high sec and actually low sec. So the Concord DED began to respond by inserting agency boosters into the LP store. That's something you might see more of. Further conduits began to emerge outside of the invasion. So the actual invasion sites that were designated by Concord, we saw actually conduits appear outside of those for some reason. There's a lot of scouts involved. And the World Arc later in summer began to appear in low security space. So definitely not just isolated. People, capsuleers, may have also seen this site appear in Tier 5 abyssal dead space, hinting at things to come. Additionally, Concord and the DED began to offer blueprints for the capsuleer implants from Triglavian technology called the Mimesis set. Initially, it was created with low grades. It's basically to give you super buffs with the entropic disintegrator with a couple of penalties. There was also some really unusual activity from the Triglavians late summer. They actually started to build something we had. It was pretty big, and they just kept building it. Actually, the Leshaks that seemed to be in charge would ignore capsuleers until provoked. And they just kept building this. And eventually, what was formed was called the Triglavian Stellar Accelerator. And it's interesting, because Stellar was positioned so closely to the New Eden stars. We don't yet know what's happening. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. We also saw mid-grades Mimesis set come out in the DED LP stores, and a bit more advanced in the construction facility. Some of you might noticed. And a particular form began to take shape. We all know what this is now with the keynotes. It's definitely the Dreadnought, Zirnitra. So, Chapter 2 in the invasion comes late November, as we announced in the keynote. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. So it's basically the Triglavian Collective story is going to progress quite a lot. The Dreadnought is going to make a strong appearance throughout the next part of this invasion, and also the empires are joining the fight. So the 4 major empires are going to fight head-on-head with the Triglavians. New content will be available for you to face off with them. We don't know who the victors are going to be, whether it'll be the major empires of New Eden or the Triglavian collectors. The Capsuleers will have to figure this out. And yeah, figure this out. So, do you remember the question that Zoria Triglav asked you to prove the direction of your flow? Now's the time. So this next chapter, you will have to choose a side. You have to choose. So whether you choose the major empires as your ally or the Triglavian collective, this is what you'll have to do. So the new content, you'll be fighting against the Triglavian Dreadnought or with it. And it's up to you. Actually, inside the site, we've got a bit of a brand new messaging system involved to tell you exactly which sides you've chosen and just how you're progressing in the story of that arc. So this is kind of just showing right now the killing the Triglavian Dreadnought. You can see that there's the damage being applied in the objective, and time is actually telling you when it's entering siege mode. Interesting that we show that time. It's almost like it's going to be a slaughter. There's also going to be a high-grade Mimesis set coming out in the next chapter. This will go on the LP store for the DED again. Some of you kind of were guessing where we were going with the set bonuses. So it's very in line with most of the other sets. So here we have just the standards for the Mimesis set of the bonus to the max damage for disintegrators, alongside that penalty for the damage multiplier. We have some of the attribute bonuses, and the Omega actually has an 80% bonus for the complete set, with each implant having a 20% set bonus on top of that. Zirnitra. This thing, it's pretty cool. So, what is it capable of? Now, I purposely haven't put all of the stats on this slide because they're still being confirmed, but I do know they were leaked a little on Hoba Leaks. So if you want to get like a key indicator of what's happening, it's got the same sort of flavor as all of the Triglavian collective fleets. So you've got remote armor repair, you've got smart bomb and NET neutralizer bonuses. Those are the role bonuses available, and the skill bonuses too. It's shaping up to be a pretty powerful platform, especially maybe for structures. That's going to be their biggest target, I think. Alongside the Triglavian Dreadnought, there'll be a brand new extra-large entropic disintegrator and extra-large exotic plasma charge. We're actually just releasing with Baryon in the first chapter, but very much like the invasion that you saw from May over summer, there'll be more content dripping in, and we fully expect the entire Triglavian Dreadnought sort of ecosystem to be fully fleshed out with modules and charges. One thing to note is the Dreadnoughts, the disintegrator, and the ammo are all going to be fully manufactured in a full industry chain by players. So the blueprints and components are all going to be dropping through Invasion. There will be some new Triglavian capital components that you need to use to construct the Dreadnought itself. And actually, yeah, you'll have to run the Dreadnought sites in a few interesting ways to figure out exactly how to build these. Overall, the projected cost is actually going to be lower than Pirate Faction hulls. We really don't want these to be sort of trophies on the mantelpiece where you kind of just dock up and forget about them. We really want them to be used and out there in the world. They will, of course, be just a little more expensive than the Empire Dreadnoughts, but overall, we totally want the Triglavian Zirnitra to be out there and shooting. So this is it in siege mode, which is looking really cool. I really like the look of this. And it's pretty huge as well. if you like the look of that, I would strongly recommend going to the Art of Eve panel. They've actually got a gigantic presentation. It's like over 3.5 gigabytes of PowerPoint. I don't know how PowerPoint can actually hold that much in, but they've managed it. So yeah, they've got loads of screenshots, more stuff on Zirnitra. There's actually a roundtable from